from my house into the parking lot.
Yeah. That's also convenient for it.
Turn off 30 Broadway.
What happened? You would farm.
Family wedding. I love it. Going to Nebraska.
I've driven that before, but I'm not sure. We went to Lincoln.
Yeah, I've driven, one time when we were going west, my wife said, she's tired of going across Colorado, let's go across Nebraska. Well, there is a difference, really.
Yeah.
It's cornfields all the way.
Yeah,
We
you're right.
drove up to the stack, she's an Air Force grad.
Okay, so she went to Air Force Academy.
Yeah, the storm was sack.
It went.
Oh, in Nebraska, yeah,
South.
yeah, that's right.
I thought about her.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, see,
Oh, wow.
I was caught on the eve. Boone Campbell. He said George Sheriff's Office, that's about it.
Our state police had a garage out there.
I would
Part of it,
drive
along with it.
it.
A little bit of weight, it was.
Well, it's just
Stated that they used.
2 days.
Vehicle license office.
Right about that.
And of course, when you get
That's
between
very close to East Kansas City.
Harris and Yellow.
I don't blame you. Yeah, for sure. Oh, my gosh, you can have those.
Fried chicken.
I need to ask Kristen. So we
Oh,
always
yeah.
do your monthly report.
Northern part of Kansas City, that's called Stroud.
I don't remember that.
So you should deliver some
Immigration.
We do that. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think we do.
They brought out.
That's fine.
We don't usually.
Okay, I thought-
Made a motion and did it.
Did you know about what? I want to make sure.
You don't have to, you don't have to.
He was over the park. He done that area.
I think I remember that.
But no, you're the one.
Oh, I'm screwing up.
No,
I got- That's what I thought.
It's really.
You know, I know, you did. I already knew that. They are very, just like, I don't think we're good.
It's all about now.
They know that's what this means.
Always high school.
Yeah.
Bobby said, wait, you
Always.
87.
I saw that in. I saw that in.
Well, his brother.
Well, you got on board.
Oh, man, that's kind of fancy now.
Yeah.
We have to watch what we're doing here.
Big time, bro. Just what you went down there, Greg, man. You told me exactly if you really well, I got hard to look like it.
What Shelby Kelly?
I got them in my purse. I stashed them like a little squirrel.
We just bring it down. She always
Kill me.
You might have down on the road, Daddy. He's always here, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, just gotta say. Political issue. Something like that, but now you're really good.
Abby is an intern.
Okay, so we got an intern, I bet, down there.
Oh.
Hi, Abby.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you. I had an intern for UIPB once, I did, I had for 2 years.
Well, never forget that. I will never forget that, you know.
Website stuff that we didn't ever have time to do.
You know what I'm saying?
It was wonderful.
Down there. Brother sold her house there, she had.
Scott, y'all didn't want any coffee or no?
I got some water.
Go get a donut for me.
What kind of coffee?
Yeah, that's great. Straight.
Didn't he play for? Really, that's.
With, Leo, they- well, yeah. Fixing to get busy.
You mean a white?
Yeah. Very nice, very nice. They look good, viewerships look really good.
So.
Everything is really good.
All right there together.
My gratitude to John. As a whole.
In and out, huh?
Thank you. See him, sick coat. That's it. You were ready.
Don't want it, do you? Nobody wants it.
Both buildings before.
Oh,
Now it's in the Chevy store, my son-in-law.
I talked to, I can't remember, is it?
What did they probably pay?
I think so.
I think there's a big wreck on that 40 or something, so that might be what,
Everything might be.
that might be what's holding mine up, but we can go ahead and start it.
I don't know if yours is buzzed.
That's not fixed.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. We'll call the Arkansas Motor Vehicle Commission together on June 19th, 2024. We're glad everybody's here.
Recording in progress.
Clay, we're glad you're here on Zoom.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. You all have been sent the Wednesday, May 15th meeting. I need a motion for approval.
That's all it. So like it is.
I said that sounds so crazy. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Y'all just,
You're doing okay.
it's one of those days. I've had 3 meetings before this meeting with people calling me, so.
Did it back.
Need a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we approve the meeting minutes of Wednesday, May 15th, 2024. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, same sign.
Got everybody.
Everybody will make it all.
We're all out.
So did you get that, Lexi, Scott, and Jimmy? All right. And we also have been sent the financial, so we'll need a motion if you all want to look at those minutes for the revenue and expenditure.
It's all tabs, so just pull to the tab, it's all.
And this has made it so much easier for us. Thank you all for doing this.
Make sure you get a vote to approve the plan.
And expenditure. You can do that together on one motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the plan.
Second.
Second.
Thank you all. Moved and seconded that we approve the revenue and expenditures for the month. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Daniel?
Send to the license activity reports that Alexis pulled together again for everybody. Of course, we're only, we just had a meeting last month, so there's not going to be as many on this one. But she does a great job with this. And she does have to do a little extra work to kind of pull all this into one spreadsheet to make it digestible for you. We're about to move into next month. It's July, so we'll be moving into renewal time for all manufacturers, distributors, second stage manufacturers, and all the distributor manufacturer representatives. So that's going to be kind of our, that July, August period is our big renewal time for all those. We're working hard on that. Alexis will be her kind of first go around of renewals for those people. So we're working on preparing for that now. Alexis is going to send a reminder email out this week to everybody, just kind of letting them know, hey, your license expires in a couple weeks. Be prepared to go in, do the renewal. Of course, fire statute, they have 30 days to either renew or start getting it. That's where we're at on that. There are a few since last month, new activity memos in here. Joy gets copied on all those. So she sees those when they go out. But we did manage to get Mr. Novert, Gary Novert, that we kind of told you about.
Yeah, I
last
did know that. I went,
Both the Mid-America you got him into a acceptable location where we could actually license him. So we did finally work out for him, and he is licensed as a LSB dealer. And hopefully he does well, but he did find a suitable location in Heber Springs proper. And then Funtown RV was one that we licensed. When was it, Alexis? So we brought before you got here, right before you took this job. It was kind of in that gray area where my old license supervisor was wrapping things up and leaving, and Alexis came along. So this was when we went back and figured out we needed this in the memo on. We didn't at that time. But Funtown RV is a RV dealer in Texarkana, one of the only RV dealers we have down in that area. So that's a lot of different product lines. And then Timberland, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. This is the old Red River of Malvern. They sold to Timberland to Mr. Soaps and Ms. Tisdale. So that will now be Timberland, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Malvern. They have a new license for that. And you'll notice later on the agenda, we have a surrender for the River Malvern. You guys to approve. So, we also have the detailed monthly service bureau revenue breakdown and expenditures breakdown for you guys to look at. Obviously, we're in the last month of the fiscal year. This revenue on here doesn't have the most recent $950 in revenue from last week, but otherwise it's up to date. So we only have a couple more weeks left in this fiscal year, but this is pretty close to the amount we will have. We still have around what I told you guys the other day, $6,500 in late fees. We're still trying to collect from that list you saw at the end. We'll go over later, and then we might have a few straggling license fees before the end of the year. But for the most part, we're going to be around this number and maybe a little over 490 by the time we get to the end of this year. So that's kind of where we're at on that. We're getting close. In terms of expenditures, I've got the detailed breakdown for you here, but also, we're well within our allotment appropriation on all that. We're not at risk of going over. There haven't any issues there, so nothing to worry about on that front.
good report. Anybody have any questions? They're looking. All right, Daniel, thank you so much. Thank you, Alexis. Investigation.
We've got our investigation summary. That's that tab for you guys. So we've got Margie and John's investigation reports here collectively for the last month. Obviously, there's a little less on this than there normally would be, because usually there's 2 to 3 months of data on here, but this is just for the last month. We just had. We're still mainly just dealing with some advertising issues and some title issues. We've had a few, product issues that we've been working on with people. Various investigations that, you'll see on the actual assistance report after this. You'll be able to see what they are, that we've kind of come up with. John and Margie and I have come up with on our own. We've noticed some things we need to look into, so they're more so mission initiated investigations than they are consumer. You'll see that Margie's done 19 dealer visits in the last month, so she's picking that up. And you'll also see that John's done 35, so we're still on track with our dealer visit goal of trying to get all of the dealers visited by the end of this year. We're still well on track with that. I think John told me the other day, what are we up to for you now, John, in North Arkansas?
189.
Yeah, 189 dealers he's visited up there, and he's now worked his way from, he lives in Harrison, he's worked his way over from there. He's all the way over into Craighead County now. He went to Jonesboro last week, and he's gonna go back to Jonesboro. He's gonna go to Poinsett County, he's gonna go to Blytheville, Mississippi County. And then we've got a few dealers up in extreme North Arkansas and what I'll call Green and Clay County up there, Paragould and Rector and Corning. We've actually got some dealers up there too. And I also asked him to go on, stop on down to Wynn as well, across county. So he's still got that. So he's still got a few, but he's really been getting it. And then Marty's gonna start going south here pretty soon after she finishes all the Central Arkansas dealers. She's hit most of the Hot Springs dealers already. She's visited most of the Little Rock dealers and Conroe dealers, I think. She still needs to visit Russellville, come see Mr. Johnson and all of our dealers up there. And then she's gonna start moving south down to all of our Southern Arkansas dealers. So they're gradually, yeah, she's got to go to Pine Bluff. So they're gradually getting to everybody. I think we will easily meet our goal by the end of the year. Visiting pretty much all the dealers that we license. So we also have our ad review list. We're up to 9 now on the year for that. Again, that is just showing ads that dealerships have sent to us directly, or a lot of times it's through an intermediary third-party marketing company that they use. They just have them contact us, and they'll send us a mailer. They'll send us a banner thing for Facebook or the website, or they'll send us something they want to put on the website, or sometimes it'll even be a Facebook ad. They want us to look at it and make sure that it's not going to violate any of the Rule 3 requirements for advertising, so that they're not having any issues with consumer complaints about it. So the most recent one, Margie, John looked at, was for Ordy Sign of Hot Springs, a direct mailer they sent us. So they're keeping track of all those. And at this rate, by the end of the year, we may be over 20 of those that they've looked at. So we're really trying to hone in on advertising, make sure we get that under control. That's really been picking up as of late. If you go on to the consumer assistance reports, that's where you'll find the 2024 formal complaint list and the 2024 non-formal complaint list. John and Margie have been doing a really good job of keeping track of this. That number, the formal complaint number 2 there, Bradford Marine ATV and BRP, that's one we'll talk a little bit about later, that Michael will talk about. That's a formal complaint that's still pending that we're dealing with. You'll see the first page, all of those complaints other than that one have already been closed out. And then we're on to the second page. These are still open. We're still working through these. One of these, depending on how it goes, I may have to get with Michael and Joy and have a little ad hoc Microsoft Teams session to deal with it, because I don't know if we're going to be able to get that one closed out when they have to have a little meeting on that. I'll talk to you about that later. But most of the time, even the formal complaints we've been dealing with have to do with title issues, or there's a dispute over something in the contract, or the warranty, or it's repair related. And that's most of the consumer complaints we see on the formal side. We have one interesting one we're dealing with right now regarding damaged vehicle in transit. That's what I was talking about. That's a little more of an interesting one that Mark's been dealing with Mr. Wells. But for the most part, we see title, we see repair, warranty issues, we see some pricing or contract dispute issues. They won't cancel my extended warranty, or you know, this is not what I asked for, this is not what I agreed to, that sort of thing. That's mainly what you're seeing in formal complaints. The non-formal complaints, Mark and John have been doing a great job on those as well, really getting those resolved as fast as possible. Most of the time, these are similar title issues, repair issues, but most of the time, if it's a non-formal complaint from a consumer, we can generally get that resolved in some way. So that it doesn't rise up to that formal level. I would say that a lot of times that's just through phone calls, sometimes it's through John or Margie going to the dealership. But for the most part, these are things we can get resolved. It may not necessarily be exactly the resolution the consumer wanted, but we can get something done most of the time with the dealer, working with the dealer to get that taken care of. Now you will see towards the end, once we're getting into the latter half of this non-formal report, and the ones that are still open, kind of in the back half, we're talking page 4 to page 5. We've got a few advertising issues, but mainly we're talking about ones that the commission has initiated. And this involves potentially products being sold without proper licensure, or it's an issue where, you know, someone wants us to review a location for a potential dealership. John has had several of those lately. We've got one here, Pinnacle Golf Carts, which is in Springdale. He's wanting to open a new dealership to sell LSVs mainly and a few other things. John's done an inspection on that one, and we think he's got everything he needs to be a proper dealer. We just got to get some paperwork from him and get him to submit his application. And then we've got a few other ones on here that have just recently opened within the last few weeks. One of them is a licensing issue where we haven't been able to get a gentleman to renew despite our best efforts. Another one is something that I'm going to have to talk to Joy and Michael about. That's kind of an interesting one, location wise. Then we've got one we're going to kind of address today in the meeting, and later. We get commission feedback on that. And there's another one where we may have to do inspection of a dealership to see if they're even still properly selling the products they're supposed to be selling. So varied assortment of things going on, but it's all interesting, and you know, we're doing really well getting these non-formals closed out. Like I said, I think we've only got a couple open that aren't on the back page. So John and Margie have really been staying on top of it. Just looking at all that, does anybody have any questions before we move on?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
On Margie's summary report, unlicensed dealers, you had 4 complaints about that. Is that a situation where somebody's selling products that they didn't get a license from us?
So what she's referring to there is the Pinnacle Golf Cart. It's a little generic. For instance, the Pinnacle Golf Cart issue, he's not licensed yet. We're trying to get him licensed. So that wouldn't count as.
But he's already operating.
No, he's not.
He's not.
He's not.
Okay.
Now, I think Performance Toys, would that fall under that, Margie?
Yes, sir.
So he is licensed, but we're not sure. There's some question there as to whether he should be licensed. That's all I'll really say at this point.
Okay.
And then the Sam Lev is, didn't renew his license. We're gonna go into that later.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's what you're talking about.
that's what we're talking about.
And also AgUp, I think it was.
Yeah, we had,
AgUp, we have one left from them, AGCO Michigan. They were operating and they did not renew their license. That's what fell under that.
yeah, we had one that, we had to get him to do a proper renewal for, and he had some late fees dating back to last year because we didn't do what he was supposed to do last year. So that's,
And it's
so-
satisfied everything.
yeah, he's got it fixed, but that's just kind of a generic way of putting it. But in terms of the details, yeah, they're,
Well, I was just curious as to the nature of the unlicensed dealer.
Yeah.
Report.
yeah.
Okay.
And, there's, let's see, there. Four that falls under that. Yeah, so the Central Arkansas Mahindra one is another good example. So they are a licensed dealer. They have 3, Yeah, they have 3 license locations, right? Alexis, Bryant, Little Rock, and Hot Springs. Right now, they're only licensed to sell the Hinder Rock Sword at the Hot Springs location because we have an existing dealer that sells the Hinder Rock Sword in Little Rock. She is in the process of dropping the Hinder Rock Sword, but she's still working out some final issues over reimbursement of her dealer parts and inventory with them, so she's still got it, so they can, and we had an issue where they had gotten her old inventory already, some of it, and we had to go tell them, look, you can't put that out there until we add it to the license, so that's another thing. But they should be able to get that pretty soon, we're close to finally getting that on the license, so. Okay. Any other questions? That's good questions.
I. Turn over to Michael, under legal counsel for.
And everybody. So update on the pending market area dispute between Bradford Marine and BRP. So just as a quick refresher, BRP submitted an application for a new dealer location. Bradford Marine disputed it, saying it's within their market area. The update that I got today, or yesterday afternoon, was that one, the parties are still trying to work it out. Number two, they're both considering whether or not to waive the 180-day requirement. So basically, we have to hold here within 180 days of the protest, but the parties can waive it. Get to that in a second. And the third thing is they may have a conflict for our scheduled date. I'm going to have an answer for them on that. It's just basically, look, guys, you just need to waive the 180-day requirement. So that's just a more immediate update. I wanted to take just a moment to talk about, okay, so let's talk about if certain things happen before the hearing and if you actually go to a hearing, what that will entail since we have some new commissioners. So number one, there are some things that can happen before the hearing. Number one, they can settle it. They'll send us a notice that the dispute has been withdrawn. We all go about our business. The second thing that I alluded to earlier, they can both say, well, we waived the 180-day requirement, which means they need a little bit more time. We're happy to give them that time for what Daniel and I have talked about. I think it's a good idea is to go ahead and reschedule for another date down the road, about 90 days down the road. That way the clock is still running on them and this doesn't just lay out there for a long time. So it'd be better for everybody. And the third possibility is we have a hearing. So let's talk about if we have a hearing, what that'll entail. Essentially what that'll entail is, first of all, we'll have a hearing officer who will come and administer the meeting. That'll be one or two people. We'll either have someone from a pool of attorneys that we typically call on to regulate these hearings and make rulings and keep them on track. If someone is not available, we will be asking the Madam Chair to do that hearing.
I'm great.
This given the limited issue should not be a problem, and I'll be here to walk through anything.
All right.
That may need to be walked through. In terms of what your job is as a commissioner, absent if you're serving as a hearing officer, is to sit back and hear the evidence presented by both sides. There will be an order to everything. The applicant will get to present their case as to why it should be granted. The protester will get to present their case as to why it should be denied. You'll have the ability to ask questions to any witnesses they may call. You can ask questions to the attorneys as far as what their argument is. You can also ask questions of me as far as how to proceed, things like that. You'll eventually at the end have to make a decision as to here's the facts that we found, and here's the conclusion, here's our final ruling. It's integrated. We can talk. I'll refresh you all on that if the hearing comes, but I just wanted to give you all the very high levels to how that would go. It'll be informal, but there will be a process to it, and there will be multiple people here to walk through that. So we'll keep you posted. We have our intuition says that it's either going to get resolved or it's 180-day requirement is going to be waived, or we're going to be added it down later on down the road, but you never know. So we'll keep you posted. Keep that calendar date. Until then, until I check.
I think the big thing is, Michael, if you attest to this, is that if it does come to a hearing, it's a pretty straightforward simple matter.
Yeah, it's a limited issue. It's very limited issue. This is not one of those cases where we have 100 different issues.
Where will we get them back? Dylan, what the territory is supposed to be, I guess somebody would bring something like that.
Yes, so that's how you want it. So those there, so
There'll be evidence like that.
yeah, so there'll be multiple exhibits that we'll put into the record that various sides may bring into the record. So yeah, I mean, you'll be limited to ruling on whatever's entered into the record, but yeah, you're gonna have the information.
Okay, and, was BRP stand? That the, Barney Recreation Province, that's the manufacturer. And in this case, Bradford protest,
They're the protest, they filed.
they filed a protest, okay.
Bradford is existing in FBRPP.
So this is, I don't know all those. You guys who are in the motorsport business, do that answer.
So how soon will we know if it will be cleaned out? If it's just rock on?
I've told them once, I'm gonna tell them again, like, oh, wait, like,
No,
because that's not gonna make anyone happy. They really need to let us have finance.
by the end of this month.
Yeah, that's kind of the work that's on. Now get all 3 weeks.
Yeah, because I do, unfortunately, I'll have to reschedule the meeting on the 18th in the afternoon. Yeah, which is fine, but kind of need to know that. It's a poor county thing.
Yeah. And it is one of those things that I wouldn't think it would take very long, but you never know. You just never know. If we don't have it, but I don't think, I really don't think. I don't get the sense that either side wants them to be agreed, so I would be surprised. I think that happens. But we'll keep keep it on track. We'll figure out something.
I have one more question.
Yeah, sure.
The only hearing I participated in was early on in my tenure, and there were neither party of the hearing showed up, and Sarah was our attorney, and she just kind of went through the motions.
Yeah.
But when it comes time for us to deliberate, we'll be able to do that in private.
We go off record.
Well,
I mean, it'll be protester and the defendant won't be
yeah, so
present for us while we deliberate.
yes, they will. So they will. So this meeting is covered by FOIA, so everything's gotta be
Okay.
out there in public.
Anybody else have any questions? That's why we had it on the agenda. You guys have questions, you guys haven't even had it. It's more like Michael.
Like I said, I only had one, and there was nobody here for that.
And you're right, if no one shows up, we'll just go about the motions.
And that's what Sarah actually did. Very quickly, just what they need.
But we sent out the notice last week, so they have it well in advance. They have it well in advance of the time they need to make the decision.
And this will be significantly different from like a disciplinary hearing, where you're seeing if someone needs to get a license revoked or civil penalties, because in this particular case, since it's a dispute between 2 third parties, there won't be a whole lot for staff to do. I mean, it'll just be, kind of guiding you along the process while the 2 parties do that.
Okay.
We don't have a tentative date on this, that's just the hearing. Yeah, it's, if you look at the end of the agenda, it's July, it's kind of, that's what we set out because
Mike had said he got some information.
well, but his answer to that is gonna be, okay, if you can't make that day work, then we'll wait the 180 day requirement so that we statute to set it, they're set that for statute, so they're gonna have to.
And I
Put
think,
something in writing.
yeah, I think even July 18th is somewhere, it's like in the 5-month or
Yeah.
something like that. So it's, we've given them a lot of time to work this out. So they're just gonna have decisions they have to make as far as how they want to proceed.
They're gonna have to make a decision. I think that's why.
We'll also have whatever business, regular meeting business.
It'll just be. Yeah, otherwise.
Okay. You're not hearing veterans. Yeah, I've been this one. Enjoying some of them, some of them.
No, it's been entertaining. Anything else? Thank you so much. Okay, then we go down to our action items. We have a voluntary license surrender agreement list, which we do need to vote on.
Got a couple.
2 of them. They're on the next page. Maserati, North America, and Red River Mountain, right? That's it.
So, Maserati North America, we have been licensed as a distributor. They are surrendering their license. Alexis, you want to touch on their rationale?
Maserati North America, it does not currently have dealers, they haven't had any dealers. And September of last year, though they just wanted to go ahead and surrender their license. Before we will start, they were made aware that if they decide to start doing it, they would have to apply for a grant.
And our understanding is that it's not going to be anytime soon, so. And then the other one here that you have to review is what I touched on earlier, Red River of Malvern. That's a former Commissioner Ward's store there in Malvern that he sold to the Timberland group that you saw earlier. So the fine district license.
Right, anybody have any other questions on that? We do need a formal motion on this.
We accept those.
Right.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the voluntary license surrender for the 2 aforementioned. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
All those opposed, same sign. Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you very much. And Alexis has been working hard to get in the system when she has time and get those surrenders uploaded after you guys approve them and change the status of those accounts and systems. They're terminated. They're no longer inactive or active dealer licensees. So it all details when she does that. We've still got how many left? We're still trying to get it. 20?
We're at 20, but now we're at 22.
22.
We're at 22, but some of those people have sent them in.
Okay.
Sorry.
So we've still got a few that we'll probably have by the next meeting.
Very good. Okay. What is this next thing we have? D, C, and D, what is on it? Oh, found the manufacturer page renew license.
Yes, Mr. Tan.
Tam, said that wrong.
Tan, yeah, that's how he pronounces it. Tam Corporation, Tam Live Products. So this gentleman, and there's a lot of documentation here. I wanted the commissioners to be able to review all of this. The first page here is just Margie's notes of her emails and conversations with Mr. Tan, correct, Margie?
Yes, sir.
That she's had with this gentleman. And essentially, all of this documentation is the emails we've been sending to him. And this is between Alexis, Margie, and him. And also, there's some documentation in here from his original application back in 2022. We first licensed him as a manufacturer. And I also attached his products that he sells in there just to give you an idea of what we're dealing with. It's these electric mopeds and scooters. that are coming from China, even same with here. So that's the kind of manufacturer it is, the technical manufacturer. But we did license him back in 2022, originally, and, he still has a dealer here in Arkansas, up in Mr. Johnson's neck that lives in Russellville, car company of Russellville, which is a used car dealership up there that they sell these new Tamlet scooters. We like them as a just cycle scooter and moped dealer, basically. So he did have a dealer. And basically the issue is he got this license in 2022. It was up for renewal last year. We did all the renewals. This manufacturer distributor license go from the first day of July all the way to June 30th. So fiscal year to fiscal year. So his license expired on June 30th of last year. We still to this day have not been able to get him to renew this manufacturer license. He just refuses to do it. And I'll let Alexis and Margie, who wants to go first. They've been the ones that have been dealing with him and talking to him. But, you know, in a nutshell, the general sense is he hasn't renewed this license. That's the bottom line. And we also have some issues that have arisen where we've been made aware that he has attempted to get Ricky Power Sports involved to be his distributor. And we're not really sure if there's even an agreement between him and Ricky Power Sports. We haven't seen it. He, of course, didn't inform us of any of this. We learned this through a third party, but I'll let Alexis and Margie kind of explain. Margie, do you want to start? Or
And, my notes reflect, since November the 7th of 2023 is when I first made contact with Mr. Tano to renew because he was late. And as you see, I won't read it to you, but I've been in contact with him since November. Then we found out back, I believe around March or April, he moved to Russellville from Virginia. And then when I got a hold of him, and I also contacted his dealer. The dealer got a hold of him and told him, you need to renew so I can sell your products. So he got a hold of me and he said, I will renew today. I will renew today. And this has been his, comments to me since, November. I will renew today. And Alexis and I have worked on, we sent 2 letters, one regular mail, one certified mail to his Russellville address, that last known address. We do know he's not there. Virginia, right? We just sent that out before we put this package together. But we did send that out to Virginia as well, his previous address. And so all I know is we still he won't return phone calls, emails, and he will, and as far as the letters, then we sent 4 letters, 2 certified, one to Russellville, 1 to Virginia, and 2 regular mail, Russellville, Virginia. And we have not heard anything back yet, as in if they've been picked up, the card's been signed for, we don't know yet, but we're waiting on the postal system. We're hoping with the regular mail, especially maybe the one in Russellville, or maybe even the one in Virginia, there will be a forwarding address that they put a sticky thing on there since they forwarded somewhere else where we get it at, maybe where it's at. We do know from the dealer, he is in Russellville, but we do not know where in Russellville.
you'll notice in here too, if you look through the packet, there are several emails in here from him where he's responding to them. So he knows that he's supposed to be there. I mean,
He's asking, what do I need to do?
And then
When you're still selling this product,
yeah,
you're moving around.
dealer.
The dealer is,
Well, and he is too, apparently.
Oh, really?
That's kind of the issue I have. Now, I'll let Alexis touch on this. What did we confirm with the Ricky Power Sports?
So we had a phone call with Mr. Tan 2 or so months ago, where he informed us that he was not aware that he needed to renew his license if he got a distributor to work on his behalf instead of him as the manufacturing of the product and directly to the dealer. We informed him that as of the day that he called us, we had no knowledge of that. That we received no agreement between for him or from this alleged distributor that he said he was going to be utilizing. And we informed him that day that he still needed to renew, and we informed him of how much late fee. Because of that, we have since not been able to get in contact with him at all. We have gotten in contact with the dealer and the potential distributor. The last conversation we had with the potential distributor is that they do have a agreement with them, but they are not distributing their products to Arkansas because it also informed them he is not licensed, so he cannot manufacture and distribute our products on behalf. So we were informed by them that they're not distributing his product to any dealers.
Well, and I think the actual, didn't they send you a agreement letter claiming whatever their claimed agreement was? And I think if you actually look at it, I think it's close to the back here. This is the letter with them and Shenzhen Tam Technology, which is actually the original manufacturer of China.
Yes.
So I don't think their actual agreement is with Mr. Tam. I think it's with the Chinese company. So there's that too. But either way, I mean, he hasn't made us aware of any agreement between himself, his company, and RPS, and Ricky Power Sports is aware that he's not licensed, so they're not gonna be, acting on this, at least they told us they're not. The bottom line is, this gentleman apparently has moved to Arkansas. He confirmed as much in one of the emails, and everybody has confirmed that he did at one time have an address up there. Is it London?
Yes.
London, which is up there close to Russellville. My understanding is that this address was leased to him by Mr. Salt,
Correct.
the dealer. So, that's how we know that he was there at one point. He's no longer at that address. And of course, Mr. Saul still has Hamlet products. We still license him. They're still on his license. He knows he needs to renew it, and he's not making any effort and has not made any effort to do so. And we're not really sure. We've sent letters out to all known addresses, but we're not really sure what he is at this point. So it's kind of a unique situation for us to deal with. And I wanted to present it to the commission to look at to get your feedback on what you would like us to do at this point.
We're also at the point where both the potential distributor and the dealer are not able to contact us.
Beaver still get his product if he wants it. He calls and says, I want X amount of these. Does he receive them? Is that communication line still open?
From the last time I spoke with him, it seemed like he just had a bunch of products, but he hasn't been able to contact them because they have secondary issues going on as well. So.
We're not.
He can't get any new products, but he has the products.
He still has inventory.
He does have inventory.
But I'm not sure if he can actually get in contact with him. That's something else we would have to confirm. Yeah, I mean, he's very much aware that he's renewed and he's just not doing it. So, and his.
Y'all spent 2 more hours on this.
Yeah, well, you saw how many emails
Yeah.
Alexis Martin.
Exactly. And then like we hadn't tried, so.
Yeah, there's no way you can argue that he doesn't know or that we haven't tried to work with him on this. So I wanted to get Michael's feedback on it from a legal standpoint, because I don't know, I mean, in the past, in these situations, meaning there's the potential we can, have a hearing on it, but I don't know how we would serve them. Notice of hearing, so that's an issue.
So under the Administrative Procedures Act, you don't have to give service, you just have to give notice. So if we're able to get the notice of hearing to them, get some sort of confirmation, get access to the facility, then we'll email, we should be good. I think also through Office of State Procurement, pretty low cost. I mean, I think it's like $50-$75. You can use a state contract to get personal service on it. process. So there are a couple ways. So y'all end up going to the hearing, we have avenues.
Mark, have you done an on-site visit to the dealer?
No, sir.
That would be next steps. If we want to keep going down the road. That's good.
I mean, it's.
Yeah, I see.
Because I don't see how they can sell something that's manufactured in. As much, that's punishing them for. See what I'm saying?
Well, it's kind of dicey because we did have a license at one point and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was
yeah,
overdue 2 years. ago.
so it's kind of a tricky situation.
He just has one dealer in Arkansas, that's.
That we license currently, yes, there
Right,
is
you
one.
know.
That is the one, well, that's the only one with license, so that is the only one as far as I'm concerned.
And,
Probably.
if we have to have a hearing in order to shut, terminate that.
Yeah, we can't just get out of here.
Can't vote to terminate it because he hasn't renewed. But the fact that he hasn't renewed, then he's in violation of the statute, correct? And so
It's in violation of several.
we can't, as a commission, we're not able to terminate it without a hearing, even though he's violated. He can keep operating on an expired license indefinitely.
So the commission, we have to give him his process. So we would have to have a hearing in order to effectively and, terminate him the right way.
Okay.
And remind me, Daniel, is there anything in the rules that says for how long they can renew a license?
Well, it's an interesting point because if you actually read, there's nothing specific about that. If you actually read what it says, it's very open because it says, your license expires on this date for manufacturer, distributor, it expires on June 30th of every year, right? And then it says, after that, every 30 days of default, there is a penalty of 50% of the license fee. So presumably, if they want to pay all of their penalties and the renewal fees, and that would be hefty at this point for him.
$6,300.
Yeah, if he goes and pays all that back to the commission, then he could get his license. But he would have to pay all of that.
So he'd have to pay $6,300 for the year he hasn't been licensed, plus
Plus the license,
another $900 if he wants to be licensed.
plus the license fee for the last.
1,800.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I also included in that email and those,
Yeah.
mail letters that we sent him. The information about his
Alexis has a-
manufacturer representative license because he's also a rep. for
he's also
some
in default on that too.
company. So he has not renewed that either.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
those
Alexis has the
late
chart.
fees are at this point is about $2,800 to renew and to pay.
So he actually has two.
In addition to that.
Yeah.
I'm still getting this a bit. I probably did this, but it was still good. I ain't got any patience with it. Well, I heard that.
Do we know if the dealer selling his product, did he receive this product, he still got it in the store before or after?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to.
Well, that we don't know, we would have to look at his records of inventory to see if they got the last shipments and that sort of thing, and that's something we could do in an inspection. Yeah, we don't know that, yet. We haven't gone that far, because really to get to that, we would have to work this, because right now it's a non-formal investigation, we would need to look at it as a formal investigation, and
So a motion to set a hearing date. Not in order, not for.
unless
Probably after the inspection, then that probably will probably.
We would present it.
Probably go see it,
We would present
make
it
it
to
a
the,
formal one.
we would present it to the commission at the next meeting, probably, that you guys can make a motion. to sit in.
If only because, if there are additional findings, so that.
I wanted, this is a unique situation that we don't encounter very often, so I wanted to present it to you in case you guys had some different ideas about anything else we can do to try to get this guy in compliance, but I don't, from my standpoint, I think we've done about all we can do from the staff angle to get him to renew. So I think we're at the point where we just need to do an investigation and, present the findings to the commission. Michael, go ahead, I'll have to add on. Make the motion. Present the findings to you. Decide at that point, based on the evidence people have said here today for it. So, unless somebody has a good idea. I mean, that's, if I didn't walk up and look at it, that would be the progress. That would be, yeah. Make sure Mark that down with it. Yeah, well, that would be one that they'll probably do together. They would probably have to go with that.
So we could hold dealer ordering it. I mean, I can't do that. Because he's not licensed. He's got to do that. I'm just asking.
You could put a warning on him about receiving any, I mean.
I would say I would visit with the dealer about that.
I don't know if we can do that without like an order, like actually sitting down.
Okay.
I would have to
Just
review the
ask.
statute. I
Okay,
mean,
Because the dealer does have a license.
yeah,
yes,
It's
yeah.
yeah. But I would say. That's
Yeah, I
right.
think the dealer has had any contact.
At least the last couple of months.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I
Not
don't,
related
No, he
to
hadn't
this,
ordered
but
any
related
other.
to-
I
Any more
don't
products.
think so, because he can't get hold of it.
I will say from an investigative standpoint, next step is John and Marty would have to go up to our company, Russellville Property, so I'll have a sit down conversation with them, kind of go through the records, figure out what all has gone on in the last year and get as much information as they can from him voluntarily. Otherwise. Yeah, good, because
Yeah, we would.
we can call Nate all we want to, but he's only gonna share some. Sometimes we just have to sit down.
You can look at a manufacturer's statement of origin, get an idea of it.
Yep.
And we should, you look at the MSO, it'll allow you to look at it. And you can tell when those units come in.
I think, if I said, I'll talk to Nate, I know Nate's a part of it, I'll talk to him several times. I think he'll keep on. Yes, I don't think it's gonna. Yeah. I could.
Only benefits him. Because he's not gonna be.
Well, he wants to keep his license.
Yeah.
We think he's a good stand, but now, he does have another product, did he add something,
Yeah.
so it's not like it's his own.
Right.
Product, so he wants to stay. in it. So he's not, that's not. That'll be the next step, and I don't think it necessarily requires a motion or anything at this point, but when we get to the next meeting, we will have an investigation report to present to you. And probably some ad hoc findings between Joey and Michael and myself, will have a little team now and then. Yes, in this situation, we cannot just, we can't just unilaterally terminate him, we have to go through the process. Give him a chance to show up at a hearing. Case. Anybody else have any questions?
You know, if that individual in Russellville, he wants more product. Is he able to get it? And if he needed more units, is he able to get it from our sports?
Not through the art.
And when he spoke to us, he said that he was told that they were refused to go through and we talked to them, they said they would not be doing any drug product in this. If
Now-
that's his contact, then he's not getting any contact with Mr. Tam. then-
That is what they told us. We will independently verify whether or not it's accurate when we do this inspection, because that's just what, we'll see what's on the,
And there's other papers on other ones.
Yeah. And if Freaky Power Sports has been selling it, probably that's another issue. That will drag it, that would be a separate issue, because they're a licensed distributor. So I hope that's not the case, but if it is, we'll deal with that. But yeah, John and Margie will verify that when they go talk. Good question.
Okay, update on the license renewal late fee collection. The awards distributors.
Yeah, so this kind of goes in line, and I didn't even include Mr. Tan on this list because he hasn't renewed yet, so he doesn't get to be on this list. These are all people that have renewed their license and they just haven't waited for these. And this list was pretty lengthy when we started, but this is the final 6. We've got it down to. Margie and Alexis have worked really hard on this. I will say the new ELP invoice feature has really helped us with this in terms of staying on top of it. We get a report every week that we can, reconcile, go over, and it makes it easy for us to kind of stay on this and make sure we stay on those people that get these paid. Out of this list, I don't think Markie's been working with the 2 remaining. Tao is a distributor, Extreme Outdoors is manufacturer, right, Margie?
Yes.
Those are the 2 biggest outstanding ones we have. And I think they both, you communicated with both of them. They're saying they're gonna pay it. So, I will say that, when renewal comes around, if they still haven't paid this, we're not gonna approve their renewal until they pay the late fees for last year. So it will just sit there until they pay. Super Power Sports, Wicked Cycles, and Quality Wheels. Those are 3 dealers. Those are the only remaining dealers we have that owe late fees. You'll look and see that 2 of them have $100 and 1 of them has $150. So for a dealer, their license fee is $100, 50%, so it's $50 for every month played. So those are the only remaining ones there. Margie is also staying on top of them, and if we have to, we'll do the due diligence to remind them they can pay those at some point. Mr. Brian Thompson. We'll see what happens with him. He has been he's the only rep left on our list that has not paid his late fees out of all of them. And he's been one that's been a little difficult to deal with, I would say. He no longer returns Margie's phone calls. So I think Margie has talked to Yanmar, which is his parenting company that he works with as a rep. And I think they're trying to get that taken care of, but we'll see what happens. That may be one that comes up at a later date, at a later commission with further action. But that's the only one on this list that I really have a concern about. So, but yeah, those are the only 6 remaining licensees that we have left that have not paid their late fees. Keep following up until they do. That's it. Out of the 6 of those we had last year. So.
Yeah, I did receive a copy from that company on this morning before the meeting. And she said that she has sent Mr. Thompson's information up to corporate, and they're going to decide whether or not to. And she wanted us to know that. But yeah, and I told her just keep me informed of whether or not it's going to be the red. That he won't return their calls either.
Oh, yeah.
His employer.
That's true. We'll see what happens. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Now, if Yanmar terminates him, and he's no longer a rep, we still have.
Oh, he's still, because he was late on his renewal, and he's had that license this entire year. Okay, so he still owes. And it,
Let them know to just send us I'm just saying he's no longer a resident, just so we can upload that into his documentation.
I think if he falls off the face of the earth, then Cameron would pay.
Yeah.
Don't
I don't like it.
D, automatic technical school education grant program update.
So just a quick update, you guys approved, all 11 grant applicants on this list for funding, last go around at the last meeting. Alexis and I worked with the finance and got those warrants, requested. We are still waiting on DFA to get them back to us so we can bail it out properly. So that's kind of where we're at. We've done all we need to do. It's just waiting on DFA to dot all it out and cross all the T's and get it back to us. So that's where that stands. All of these folks, per the statute, per this way this works, will be required to submit to accounting reports to the commission. You guys will be able to review at the meetings at that time, one in September, and one in January. So, and that is just how the funds are spent, just to make sure they're spending them on what they requested.
It's good, very good. We're getting there. They'll be wanting to things.
We're hopeful we'll have those out there next week.
Anybody else? Clyde, do you have any words of wisdom for us? Can you hear us well?
There we go. No, I can hear you fine. No, I have no words of wisdom. I'm trying to build a house right now, and I absolutely have no words of wisdom.
I understand.
Right.
Thank you for being with us.
Oh, thank you guys.
You're welcome. We will be anxiously waiting to hear what happens about the hearing.
I think if Michael and I have our way, we will have an update by the end of the month. We're not going to let them correct us out.
No.
And I do anticipate that they will eventually request to waive that requirement while they're still working on it. Again, knowing both parties, I just don't get the sense that they want to have a hearing. So we'll see what happens.
Anything else from you all? Everything going well? I hope in your business and with our consumers. Good deal. Thank you, Scott. Second. Moved and seconded. We adjourn our meeting. Arkansas Motor Vehicle Commission. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion clear.
Make sure if you haven't, sure you are.
She was glad.
That's right. You got
I'm
it.
proud of her. You know,
You got it.
Well, I have to.
We don't want that call.
But that will last.
Can you tell me your name?